These are the notes about how to find a point when a line segment is cut by a particular ratio. The first ratio that you explored pretty in depth for this topic was a ratio of 1/2, so finding the midpoint of a segment. And we discovered that we have this equation, this formula for finding the midpoint. So we're going to start by looking at an example. We're going to find the midpoint of the segment with endpoints -9, -2, -11, 7. So I have my midpoint equation here. So I'm going to say that the midpoint equals, and I have x1, I'm going to call this x1, so I have 9 plus, and then this fraction of x2 minus x1 all over 2. And my second portion is my y-coordinate portion, so y1, -2, plus y2, which is 7, minus y1, which is -2, all over 2. And then I simplify. So my first fraction, I have 9 plus -20 over 2. In my y-coordinate, I have -2 plus 9 over 2. In my x-coordinate, I can simplify -20 over 2 to be -10. In my y-coordinate, I'm going to need to find a common denominator, which is 2. So I can rewrite -2 as -4 over 2 plus 9 over 2. And then my last step will be to simplify. So 9 minus 10 and -4 over 2 plus 9 over 2. The second part of these notes are for when we have an r that is not 1/2. So first, let's just notice here the difference between these two formulas. In the midpoint formula, we know our r is 1/2, so if you can imagine that I'm multiplying this numerator by 1/2, it's the same as dividing by 2, which is why in the formula for any number, I just have an r sitting in the front of the x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. So now let's look at a second example. For this example, we are looking at the problem for when we have an r not equal to 1/2. In this case, our r is 2/3, and we're looking at it from the point 9, -2 to the point -11, 7. So the point is actually the same as the one we just used in the first example. Now, in this problem, I need to be very careful about this language, from and to. So I want to end up closer to -11 over 7. And so I need to treat 9, -2 as my first point. In the previous example, it didn't matter because halfway from one is the same as halfway from the other. But 2/3, it is going to matter. So if we can imagine this is the first point and this is the second point, if I do it backwards, I'm going to end up with either some point in here, about 1/3 from point A, or some point down here, which would be about 2/3 from A. And so I need to make sure that I'm 2/3 from the point 9, -2. So I'm going to say my point equals x1, 9, plus 2/3 of x2, -11, minus x1, comma, y1, so that's -2, plus 2/3 y2, 7, minus y1, minus -2. And then I simplify. So I have 9 plus 2/3 of -20 I have negative 2 plus 2/3 of 9. Keep simplifying. 9 minus 40/3. Negative 2 plus 18/3. Here, I can't simplify 40/3, so I'm going to find a common denominator, which means I end up with 27/3, because that simplifies to be 9. And I am subtracting from there 40/3. Keep adding in commas and parentheses where I don't need them. And then my y-coordinate is negative 2. And in this case, I can simplify 18/3, so that's plus 6. So 27/3 minus 40/3 is going to be negative 13/3, comma, negative 2 plus 6 is 4. And so the point 2/3 from 9, negative 2, to negative 11/7 is the point negative 13/3, comma,